granddad watched all your fights, bro. We watched them together. We sat down and watched all your fights.
So leading up to that fight. So when I fought like Richelle Siciar, when I fought Thomas Bonin, you know, they were talking about me as the next big thing, and I looked like the next big thing. The way I was flipping man off, it was like nasty. Yeah. So when I fight now, when I leave the country now, and even I had those 2 fights in America with Robert Davis and Robert Wiggins, I still look like the guy. Yeah, and they're all hyping me like I'm the next guy. So when I come back and I fight Danny Williams 1, right, on Frank Warren's anniversary show, and I go in there and box like a pussy, basically, right, for 9 rounds, I'm like I'm like I had a nervous breakdown, blood. Like telling the story, which I've told now publicly. In 2004, with the BBC deal, I was being bribed and blackmailed by the BBC from 2003. If you watched all my fights, you remember what happened with the Matthew Ellis fight 11. Do you remember what happened in fight 11?
I remember they had to pay Eox for a lot of money last minute. Is that the one, right?
No, you don't remember it, blood. Don't lie. Don't lie, EJ. Don't lie. Just
no, that's that was your first fight. No, all I know is I don't remember that. I don't remember that one. All I remember is they're going into that fight.
Well, let me tell you, my 11th fight, I fought Matthew Ellis live on BBC One, and Herbie Hyde was there, and they were trying to get me to fight Herbie, which I didn't mind fighting. I just didn't want to fight for Mick Hennessy. Mick Hennessy has to fight for me. That was a fight with the BBC. So anyway, there was a big riot at my fight ringside. Horrible riot.
Oh, really?
He won. So after that, the BBC are like, look, you fucking guys are unprofessional.
Oh.
You are fucking writing. This is live on BBC. The trustees don't like. Are you crazy that you're writing? But I said to them, and I still got the letter, I think, somewhere. I said to them, look, don't invite Herbie to the fight. He's too hot-headed. Your call is too small. Don't invite him. Because if you invite him, he's going to kick off. So I've sent him a letter. And so it's not going to be on me if it goes wrong. But when it went wrong now, they all put it on me. They didn't take no responsibility. I had the letter and everything. They're like, nah, it's your fault. So the BBC came after me and they said, look, you're too unprofessional. We think you're going to be a world champion. You're going to be a great. You're going to be worth 100 million. Like, could you imagine if it was social media back then and me? I would be a multi-million. I would be a billionaire, the first billionaire, because I was I was that big. Like I was big. I was a global fucking boxing star, and I hadn't even won a world title. It was sick, like. So, so after that riot, right in 2003, the BBC, like Peter Salmon, he was the head of BBC Sport. That's the people I'm sitting with. So they start fighting with me now, and they say, "Look, Audley, you got to give up your company. You got to give up your company." And I had 22 staff. I said, blood, this is racism, right? I said, my parents are Jamaican, right? They come from slavery and all that. They don't fold. We can't quit. They're like, here, but we'll make you rich. Here's all this money. You'll be a BBC presenter for your life. I'm like, but I can't do it. I can't. So from May 2003 all the way till the last fight on there in June of 2004, behind the scenes, we were like fighting like dogs, like them trying to get me to give them a company, sign with you. And I was like, but that's fucking racist. You want me to sign with these white promoters, Mick Hennessy and Dennis Hobson, who can't carry my kickback? No disrespect. I'm promoting in Wembley Arena. They promote it like leisure centres. How are they going to take me and put me in there? Or how am I going to let them just walk into my multi-million-dollar business and let them take it over? How can I do that? So they said, well, if you don't do that, we're going to destroy you. And that's what they did.
Oh, so my gosh.
2000 and when I lost to Thomas Bonin, that week of that fight, I had a full-on nervous breakdown. Should have been locked up in hospital, like how Frank Bruno was sectioned off. I should have been sectioned. But I somehow found a way to get into the ring. And I got into the ring, and I fought Thomas Bonin. And I looked good doing it. I was like mean, and I'm coming soon, Adam, right? I'm coming. And I was mean and everything else. But I was Audley Harrison right there with that nervous breakdown. The world championship was gone. Because that guy who was the ghetto boy, like Tony Montana, he was gone. I was a person, but somehow I kept it together just to beat Thomas Bonin. Because if I didn't do it, I'd have lost like £1 million or whatever I'd have lost. I couldn't afford to lose that. So that's the only thing that got me into the ring. Right? So once I got into that ring and I beat Thomas Bonin, I jumped on a plane, blood, and I got out of the country. Because if I didn't get out of the country, I'd have either shot somebody in the BBC or I'd have been locked up in a mad home. I was a madman. They fucking my spirit, they broke my soul, they broke me to the strongest guy in the fucking world in boxing became the weakest guy. But
that's what I thought, because you see the thing is, like you see, you just told me the inside now, about Danny Williams. From the outside, you was getting abused. Barry McGuigan was saying about Fraudley, and every minute on the papers they were constantly saying. I was like, why do they keep saying these sort of things? Then the other day he won the gold medal. Do you know how hard it is to win a gold medal? And obviously, like, you came down. This is because I remember the first fight you came down with Miss Elliott, where you're free con and you come down and Colin McMillan was with you. Remember, obviously, we did our social media. So when you watch it on TV and everything like that, it looks good. You go, I'm going to be a world champion. The interviews keep coming at you. When you're going to fight, it's going to happen, bro. It's going to happen. This, that, the other. We saw your fights in America and everything like that. And then when the Danny Williams one, going into that fight, there was something going wrong there. I couldn't really picture. Then all of a sudden, I know you was working with Frank Warren. I was like, whoa, boy, you're working with Frank Warren. You're just on the BBC, but you don't know what's going on.
Right.
Obviously, now you're telling a story from your perspective, and I'm glad you are, because in the day, I'm amateur coach. I've been around the media and I've been around these things there. I like the idea you're telling people about what has actually happened, of how you actually got treated, because you're one of the, like you said, without you, the amateur boxing doesn't thrive. There's no Amir Khan. There's none of these other guys over there. And everything you said about how he was treated, I believe everything you say. Like, God, I'm telling you, because when you was doing your thing, I met you one time in the Cork's Wine Bar. Yeah. I think it's just before you went out. You used to be there. You was I bet you I was there before you went out to Sydney. And you're saying you made your mind up about what you was gonna do, and it was great. But what the media at that time, and remember, social media is different because they control the media, and a lot of Frank Warren, the newspapers, whatever they decide they want to destroy, they can destroy you like that. And then you have to get the brunt every minute. That fraudy this, fraudy that, this, that, the other. He ain't doing this. Is this, is that. And then when you lost, it's like, oh no. But then when they come back now, you brought them up. Hey, you brought them up good. The rematch, Danny Williams. The inside work was beautiful. And then,
EJ, the rematch was street blood. The rematch was the only reason why the rematch happened like how it happened, because it was my pride. I'm a fucking Jamaican. And Danny's a Jamaican. He's from Brixton. I'm from South London. So to get the first fight, this is like redemption. I can't live with myself if I don't get redemption. And you remember, I was meant to be fighting Danny. I was meant to be fighting Matt Skelton. Matt Skelton was out, and I get Danny rematch. It was like the universe gave me what I wanted, and I made it. I almost killed Danny in there in that rematch.
I know. Yeah, you did.
And I was one of the baddest men on the street. You couldn't mess with me. So I lost all my strength, but for that fight, I was able to get it back. So anyway, I'm going to let Adam come on, right? But it's been beautiful talking to you, blood. And keep up with the amateur boxing, keep doing your thing, and I'll see you on the circuit, okay?
Okay. Are you back in London?
No, I'm in America, but I'm going to be coming back because now I've told my story. I've got to come back and I've got to get, because
I'm in the All-Stars, innit? Like,
I'm in the All-Stars my team. So I'll be coming in here because I'm going to keep the BBC honest with this story. They're going to have to explain why they destroyed Audley, and they're going to have to be accountable, just like everybody else. All right, respect.
Okay, nice one. All right, man. Nice one.
Let's. Right, guys. Now we got boxing, kind of boxing royalty. Adam Booth is on, right? And Adam Booth, when I was in the amateurs and I turned pro, Adam Booth was David Hayes' trainer, right? And David turned pro, and Adam Booth became David's manager, mentor. They became, inseparable. They've fallen out now. They're not together now. But Adam Booth, through the whole career, the whole pro career, and obviously A-Force was my model, and Adam Booth and Hay, and I'm sure that he'll admit it, they done a very similar model. David was independent. He'd fight on anybody's shows. And so they took my model and they made it work. And they made it work better for me because he fucking took it to Satanta. So they done great with it. And they world champion, fucking, he done it all. So using that model that I created for A-Force, so Adam Booth is like a very important person in me because he knows a lot about me, he knows a lot about Hay. And like I said, I got respect for Adam. Adam knows boxing, been in boxing a long time. But Adam would be a good person because he must be thinking, what the fuck has happened with Audley from that Danny Williams fight? Because he knew I was like Superman. I fucking could take on anybody. I can do anything and be anything. So when I capitulated, Adam and David must have been fucking, what the fuck is wrong with him? So Adam, anyway, introduce yourself, buddy, and let's have a chit chat.
Evening, how you doing?
I'm fucking great, buddy. I feel like it's the year, Chinese New Year is today, right? And Chinese New Year is about renewal and being reborn. I feel like I'm reborn. You
sound full of beans. You sound full of it.
Full of beans, bud. Because I had this test I had to go through, like spiritually from God, whatever you want to call it, and I got through it, and it was like fucking tough. Like the last 3 years. I mean, the last years from when I had the breakdown, it's been tough. But my test is now my testimony. That's why I'm giving it free. And the mess that I made, and with all the breakdown. everything is now my message that I'm sharing. So I feel beautiful, bud. Really do.
The thing I like most is that you articulate it so brilliantly, and the way you articulate it and the way you understand it from top to bottom, if you so choose, for someone that's prepared to listen that needs that help, I think, especially in boxing, I think there's a lot you can say that can help a lot of people right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree, bud. And the thing about it is, because I've been through so much and done so much and overcome so much, right? It can only be done my way. Like every fighter right now in the heavyweight division, that's Tyson Fury. He's got Sugar Hill, so he's good, really. And he's got Andy Lee, right? Andy Joshua's got Robert McCracken. I don't know what's going there behind the scenes. Dylan White, I'm not sure who Dylan White's got. But because of my tutelage from Fel Torrance to Buddy McGirt to Shadid Saluki, but Fel Torrance mostly, he like took me from an amateur all the way through, like broke my style down. I remember Lennox saying when I fought Michelle Assisia, so that's like fighting for the title. Lennox says, I don't like to go on the inside. Lennox like to keep it long. But Audley they figured out how to make Audley fight on the inside, on the outside. I was dangerous, bro. So when I had the nervous breakdown, it was like the fucking right now. Why couldn't you let me have just won a couple of world titles before you fucking made me like become the weakest man in the world? But
what year was it? What year was it you suffered that?
2004. So when we're negotiating with the BBC, so
yeah,
the BBC deal, they wanted. So what they were asking for, and you'll know this, Adam. I don't know what they were telling you guys, because David Hay and Adam was independent. But what the BBC wanted to do at that time in 2000, so after the riot with Matthew Ellis, 2003, that riot ringside with the Herbie situation, they came for me. They came for me like the whole of the BBC, the trustees, the whole of the thing came on me like a fucking ton of bricks. Like, you have to give up your company. Your company's unprofessional, and your company's got no business acumen. I'm like, fuck, how the fuck? I've got a university degree. Yeah, we had problems in the beginning with Colin, with the first fight with Frank, but we were pretty much a smooth machine by my 11th fight. I'm even promoted fights in 11. So it's like really disrespectful to tell me that we got no business acumen and you guys need to give up your company. I'm like, so how is it going to work? They said, well, you're going to be fucking rich beyond your dream. You're going to sign to Mick Hennessy or Dennis Hobson. And what we'll do is we'll get David Hay, Carl Froch, Howard Eastman, Clinton Woods, all on the one undercard. I'm like, you guys are so fucking naive, because that's how you sometimes talk to them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you guys just don't know boxing. We've had these problems our whole life. You're not going to get Adam Booth and Mick Hennessy and Dennis Hobson. You're not going to get everybody to give up their fighters and all just fight on one card. And if they are going to do that, they're going to do it on an 846 card. I'm not fighting. I'm the boss. I'm the fucking big cheese. I'm not going to fight on any one of these guys' undercards. What, you lot talking stupid? They said, you're not going to be on the undercard. You're going to be the main event. I said, but why would Mick Hennessy make me there? It was like so confusing what they were trying to pull off. So this is 2003. And then they kicked me out of the country. They said, well, fuck you. You're not listening. You can go out. You can go get in a deal in America or somewhere else. We'll give you a free fight deal, but you can't promote in England ever again. I'm like, how's that going to work? I can't. I've got no power to go do a deal with ESPN and everything else. It turns out that I did. My leverage was so big at that point because I was regarded as a future different. End of 2004, end of 2003, I'd done those free fight deal with. I went and saw Bob Yalen. He's the head of ESPN. And I flew to him in Bristol, Connecticut, and I basically had to beg him those 3 days. And he said, Audley, if I give you these 3 days, all these American promoters who are fucking desperate to get a date with me, they can't even get 1 date with me. You're getting 3. They're going to fucking come after me. But he's like, I like it. He was that kind. He's like, I like it. Let's do it. So it was like incredible.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So when the BBC had a rights deal with them, and did they say that they weren't interested in the rights if you were promoting in the UK? But
Correct.
They would take the rights if you boxed in the US on another promoter show.
Correct. Because they didn't be able to pull it off.
Creating an opening.
Yeah, but they didn't think the reason why because there was such a backlash to this guy being a promoter. Mm-hmm. There was no way I was going to go to America and do my own TV deal. That's what they thought. They just didn't think I could pull it off. It was like an impossible thing that I pulled off to go to ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, when you opened that door to the BBC, that gave me the opportunity to keep David, or to start David's pro career, away from the clutches of the existing elements, right?
Of course.
And it was only because you opened that door, but they didn't give us the same deal.
Right.
What they gave us was the power to choose the promoter that we would work with. So we were doing 1 and 2 fight deals with, whether it was Lion Promotions or Fight Academy, or we were just basically empowering them to give them a BBC slot. But it was all because you know what they say, right? The second mouse gets the cheese, but the first mouse always gets caught by the trap.
Right.
And you were the first mouse in that sense. So you took all the knocks. And I've always said that, and I said it to you when we put the deal together for the World Heavyweight title fight. We always acknowledged that you were the one that led the way, but the one that leads the way is always the one that takes the knocks.
Takes the bullets. You have to take the bullets, and I knew that, and I was strong enough to handle that, as long as the BBC didn't tell me.
It takes its toll, right? It takes its toll.
It takes the nervous breakdown is fucking the worst thing that you want to ever go through as a human being. I remember George Foreman talking about losing to Jimmy Young, being in the changing rooms and having these nervous breakdowns. He thought he was going to die, and he disappeared, didn't he? And became a pastor for 10 years.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's how I felt, like I was going to be a pastor spiritually, something I have to do, something spiritually. The beautiful thing about this whole journey is that the lady who I was with, Rachel, she was Jewish, and she was like, how can I can't be a pastor? So it didn't work. So the universe had it all lined up right. I just had to be tough enough to go through it. Like destroyed. Like even now I've come back, right? Like I said, it's the year of the tiger. It's the Chinese New Year, right? And you got to think, I just had COVID in January, yeah? This is part of it. COVID is part of it. So I had COVID in January, and I overcame COVID. And like a lot of people like crucifying ivermectin, and I had all these research papers that I saw that ivermectin worked, and NAC worked, and I took it. I weren't vaccinated. I'm not vaccinated, and I took it, and it kept me out of hospital. Like everything was in my lungs, and it was like 2 weeks. It was like a fight. It was tough. It wasn't easy to get through, but I got through it. I didn't have to go into hospital, and I'm good to go. My wife had it, and it didn't make me feel invincible. But you're looking at all these people online and say, "Oh, get vaccinated to keep you out from dying," and it making it like really scared. And I came through, and I was like, "This is my time." I haven't boxed since 2013. I've been out of boxing for a long time, but this is my time to tell my story. And a lot of people saying, "Oh, can't tell your story now. Your story is a movie. It's a book. You're gonna give it away."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm not giving it away for free. All rights reserved." It means if anybody, I have my intellectual property rights, I have my image rights. If anybody wants to use my story, they got to come through me. If any like big networks or anything want to use my story, so my story is still me, and I own all the rights on my story. So that's why I can give it freely. But it's important that I told my stories, that people know the truth. What happened? That I was Superman. I should have won the world title, but God said universally that wasn't for you. I fucking had girls all over the fucking world. I was like horrible in terms of who I was as a person, and that person had to die. That company had to die. So that's why it all crumbled down. I didn't understand it. I said, let me win a world title before you like make it crash. But it just needed to fold. The fact that Frank Warren was the catalyst of it. Frank Warren was like just a little annoying piece of shit, like like fly on shit. When somebody shits, a dog shit, the flies goes on it. Frank was just like an annoying little gnat to me. He wasn't my problem. He had all the press that used to write the shit about me, but my problem was the BBC. When they turned on me and I had to fight with them, that's like a big machine in it, and they like to win. The system always has to win, and that's what they've done. They've done a great job. Peter Salmon, this story would have never come out. You've done a great job. Dominic Coles, Dominic Coles, Peter Salmon. You probably dealt with him because you was your own boss. Yeah. So they were the head of BBC. They were like the biggest. They done £100 million contracts with soccer, but I took them to school because I was a good negotiator who had the leverage. And people say, "Oh, you got a £1 million contract from the BBC." I got a £4 million contract from the BBC. Because I was prime time. Nobody else could command, they couldn't believe it. Like Greg Dyke could not believe it, that this kid is getting 4 million people watching his fight at 4 o'clock in the morning. My pro David.
But look at the BBC now, right? I mean, the head of the BBC, the Director General, decrees that boxing isn't a sport that the taxpayer that pays the license fees isn't interested in.
That's a lie.
And yet, look at BBC Sports Personalities of the Year. There was one year when you had Ricky and Calzaghe. I think one won it and one came third. And in that same year that these won and came third in the BBC Sports Personality of the Year, the BBC still were decreeing that the BBC license payer isn't interested in pro boxing, so they're not going to show it.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So what? Let me tell you the backstory of the BBC and thing. When they had Frank Bruno 15 years previous to me, with these one-round blowouts, like before the Frank Warren cartel, Mickey Duff, Terry Lawless, and Jarvis Astaire, you had that cartel, right? And they were like running boxing, and they were doing these one-round blowouts. And it actually, coincidentally, the matchmaker for Frank Bruno was a guy called Johnny Boss, who became my matchmaker when I turned pro. So that's the kind of team that I had around me. I had a fucking the creme de la creme. But so the BBC, those one-round blowouts really like the trustees and everyone really said, look, we can't have this on live TV and trying to sell this as it's shit. We can't do it. So they said, we're going to walk away from boxing. We're not taking it no more. So they walked away, never to come back at boxing. Because BBC, like public school boys, and it's majority white, and these public school boys with like boxing, isn't it? Boxing is like they like rugby and rowing, and boxing is, and it has a deaf element. No thanks. So what happened was Greg Dyke, right, became the BBC controller, and he was the football man and he was the boxing man. He loved boxing, Greg Dyke. So when he saw four and Harrison, he said, this is the guy that we can bring him back. And the fact that I didn't want to be signed to Frank Warren or any promoter, I wanted to be independent. So that's
like that.
It was like, we'll make him our baby, right? We'll make him our baby. So Greg Dyke's the one who brought it back. And what he said goes. So Peter Salmon, all those little public school boys and Dominic Cole, they didn't like boxing, but they had to say, okay, let's start dealing with this guy. And now this guy's independent. He wants to be his own guy with his lawyer, and he's doing, like people, it's like £1 million signing, £1 million for my fight fees, £1 million for my promoter. It's like I'm rich beyond my wildest dreams. Then I've got all the other different deals that I'm doing. Money was just being printed for fun. Money Mayweather, Money Audley. I was smashing. So I negotiated these contracts because I was a prime time, just like Gary Lineker on Saturday night with 2.5 million viewing figures, less than me. All match and day, I was getting more than match a day. And then Jonathan Ross with his show, I was getting more than him. So I was prime time. So they were negotiating with me. They were getting it cheap. But I said to them, look, but the boxing world are not going to like me being the main event. So we have to kind of dress it up. They're like, we don't care about the boxing world. You deal with them. But I'm like, it's going to be tough, though, because they're going to start writing bad things. They say I shouldn't be the main event. They didn't care about that. They said, look, mums, grandmas, kids, all they care about is that Audley Harrison's going to be boxing. They don't give a shit who's on the undercard. They don't care. So that's the kind of climate that I was working with. And they paid me all that money. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to complain. Let me just get on with it. I said, just give me the control. Let me do it. And they gave me the control in the beginning. Fair enough. But where Frank got to me, all those negative press, the BBC started looking over, like the pro debut. I've got them in the corner getting an extra 20 grand. And you stole his TV money. They knew that's why they ran away from boxing 15 years ago, but because they didn't want to deal with the negativity. Boxing is so incestuous with all the fucking negativity.
Yeah,
they didn't want to deal with that. They wanted it just to be clean, like rugby's clean. It's a public school boy. Why does boxing have to be so skullduggery and all that? I'm like, because these fucking promoters, they're just dirt. They don't care. They'll take money out. They'll shake your hand, take the wallet out of your pocket. They don't give a shit. And so it was like they were like, that's the they said, Audley, can you control them? And I thought I could. Hell no, I couldn't control Frank Warren and his merriment. He was too desperate to get a piece of me or mess me up. I could never control him. So that's what I thought. That was my naivety, that I thought I could control Frank Warren. You can't control Frank because he's so desperate to be at the top, want to be at the top, stay at the top. So that messed up the deal. Like all that negative press started making BBC question, does this guy have the business acumen? And we believe he's going to be a world champion. They never ever questioned that they never ever questioned, can he be a world champion? They just said, you need to have a white promoter basically manage you. Have one of our white promoters take over. Because I know you're a black guy and you want to be like a beacon for your community, for business. But Audley, you just don't have it. So I took that so fucking personal. Like, you mean I don't have it? I got to do that. I'm doing well now. We messed up a bit at the beginning, but we're doing good now. We're like a well-oiled machine. Staff on this side of the country, staff in America. We're doing it really good. But in their mind, nah, you're not. So I knew it was just racist. It was just personal. So they said, you have to shut your company down. Right when it's at the peak, I've just beaten Michelle Assisi, look great. And they're saying, your company has to go. So that's what caused the breakdown, because from Matthew Ellis, I'm fighting them tooth and nail blood. And when they finally said, right, all boxing's over and the thing, my heart dropped to the floor with tears. Because I'm like, my dream was to be the heavyweight champion of the world as my own company, not to be the heavyweight champion of Frank Warren. I never want to work for him. So when they took that deal away and ended all boxing because I wouldn't give up the company, that the world championship was out the window right there, but it was gone right there. Broke my heart.
So what are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with this story and this clarity and this energy that you got now?
So the thing what happened, again, part of the journey, I ran away from boxing. I weren't watching no fights or anything. And then I went to Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. And just like Gerald McLennan and Nigel Benn, when I'm watching that fight, I was fucking having orgasms, jumping up around like a fucking madman. I fell back in love with boxing again. Like genuinely back in love. Now I can't go and win a world title. My career's over, done. But as you know, as you said, I've got so much knowledge and energy and power, and I'm ready to come back to boxing and give this fucking empire that I have here in my head and just my experience, give it to somebody. Now, because of my experience, I can't take 20 boxers from the ground up. I just don't have that time. So like in Emmanuel Stewart, like when Emmanuel Stewart had Vladimir Klitschko, like I knew 100% I was going to be a world champion. Because I said Emmanuel, because I knew Vladimir Klitschko, I would knock him out in 3 rounds. This is no big talk. Vladimir Klitschko boxed Ross Puri in his 15th fight, and I remember him losing to him. I was like, fucking hell, he's got some skills, but fundamentally, when you close him down, he folds like a fucking pack of cards. So I knew that. And because I was working on the inside work with Fell, I'm like, I'm going to close Vladimir Klitschko down. And so I knew 100%, if that's who I've got to fight for the world champion, I'm a definite certified, because his weaknesses, he hadn't fixed them. Then he boxes Corey Sanders, who's a southpaw, and he gets exposed again, knocked out in 2 rounds. So I knew 100% he doesn't know how to fight southpaws. He doesn't know how to fight on the inside. Like God, like they're setting me up for stardom against the previous Olympic champion. It was like destined. I'm gonna fight Vladimir Klitschko. He's independent. I'm independent. I'm gonna sit with Bonte. He's fucking, and I'm gonna destroy them negotiation wise. And I'm gonna. It was all set out for me. I just was so thing. And then then Vladimir Klitschko, after he lost the second time, then he loses to Ron Brewster. He goes to Emmanuel Stewart, who, just like with Lennox, when Lennox lost to Pepe, we had Pepe Correa, and he went to Emmanuel. Emmanuel was a finisher, innit? Emmanuel finished off Lennox, made Lennox perfect. He finished off Vladimir, made Vladimir for his style perfect. Yeah. He was a great finisher. Yeah. He was a great trainer as well from the ground up, but he was finishing these guys. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a finisher. So somebody like Anthony Joshua, perfect. Somebody like Dylan White, perfect. Somebody like even Tyson Fury, perfect. But he obviously got Sugar Hill, who's connected to the lineage of proper heavyweight, proper training, because he's Emmanuel Stewart. So my thing is now to come back at the top and get a fighter to finish. Now they have to listen to me because I've got a lot of experience. I can't have somebody in there, like when I went to camp, I had my team and everybody had a job. No one else was in the camp. It was very serious every time I went to camp. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to come back to boxing and just like set up an agency. I can't have a trainer's license. I can't have I'm like Al Heyman. I want to be independent. So I don't want to be controlled by anybody. That's the thing about me. I don't like control. So like Al, I'm going to be an advisor. I'm going to set up, A40 going to get set up again. And I'm going to look, I've already got like 20, 30 people have emailed me, messaged me. Can you give me some advice about this fire? If you want to give me advice, I'm going to set up a company. I'm going to put my calendar. I use calendar. I have a calendar thing that I'll pull up there. And you can book a time with me. I'm going to be like $250, £250 an hour, because I'm that experienced. I'm like a lawyer. My lawyer charges £250 an hour, $250 an hour. I'm going to be about 200 to 250 an hour. And you can have an hour consultation with me about this boxer's career. And I will give you as part of that hour, I will give you my advice on where I think you should go. Or you could come to me, like maybe $5,000. You can come to me and I will give you this. You can tell me who you're fighting. I'll watch the videos with you, with your team. And because I'm a great strategist tactician before I had a break. And I will watch the fight with you and I will give you a game plan. If you implement it, that will give you a chance to success. Like I believe Dylan White's got all the disadvantages. He's got no chance to beat Tyson Fury. Unless I gave him this game plan that I've looked at. And I think if I give him the game plan, he'll have a chance to beat Fury. And he'll give Fury the blues. Right, so it'd be a great fight, but I think Tyson might pull it out. But if we have enough time, because you need 12 weeks, I already know it's a problem. Whoever's negotiated, was it Eddie? Eddie, I would give you a slap on the bum, because Eddie, you need 12 weeks to fight. Like Lennox Lewis said, you need 12 weeks to do a proper camp. So when I've done my proper camps, I never lost in Big Bear. 12 weeks.
Have they set a date for Tyson?
I got told it was 9 weeks away. Somebody told me it was 9 weeks away. But that's a mistake right there. Oh, that's not.
It's got to fit the DAZN schedule, isn't it?
Yeah, but no. Well, when I'm the boss, like when I was negotiating with the BBC, just like Lennox would negotiate with me, just like you would negotiate with Satanta. You're putting the dates around us. We're not putting the dates around you. What business is that? I need to prepare in camp, and I need 12 weeks. So we're going to start from there. That's the negotiation I would have with the network. That's negotiation. If I'm managing you, advising you, there's no 9 weeks.
Where you at now? Where, are you in America now?
Yeah, I'm in America. So I want to come back to boxing in that kind of way, at that kind of level. And by the messages that I'm getting, once I set up the company, I believe that's what's going to happen.
I hope it works. I really do.
So
I love a maverick.
Thank you, buddy. What you got now, Adam? You manage some fighters. You got anyone?
Yeah, managing coaching. So I got Michael Conlon fighting for WBA featherweight title on March 12th, and this Saturday I got Liam Williams fighting Chris Eubank Jr.
You're fucking hell! That's big potatoes. You see, Adam, you stayed there, big potato. That's a big fight.
Yeah, it's a real fight. Huh?
I didn't know you was managing him.
I didn't manage. No. So I got asked about 10 weeks ago. I got asked if I would coach Liam for the fight.
Okay.
And so I took it on as a hired gun.
Job.
I'm glad I did. Yeah, I'm glad I did because Liam can box, he can fight, and it's a great matchup. It really is. This fight has the potential, genuinely, has the potential to be like a little English version of Hagler Hearns.
Oh, love it.
It really does. This Saturday. Having said that, it's 11 o'clock at night here, so I've got to get some sleep because I've got an early start tomorrow.
All right. Hey, Adam, look, good reconnecting with you, mate. Happy New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. And good luck Saturday night, mate.
Get shot of that COVID, and I'll see you when you're back in the UK.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, let's bye.
Right, sounds a great talk with Adam. So we got people coming in. Right, let's see. Astro's been waiting. That was a great talk with Adam Booth, who's a boxing man. Right, Astrology of the Soul, come in. You can now speak. Astrology, are you there? You got to turn your speaker off. Astrology.
Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
How you doing? Yeah, I can hear you. Talk up a bit louder.
Yeah.
Get closer.
Yeah, I'm talking up loud, man. Don't you know who's talking?
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, don't you know who's talking? You know who's talking?
No, if I knew who's talking, no, who's talking? Tell me.
It's Israel,
who's
man.
Talking?
It's Israel, man. We used to box together.
Wait. This is not Israel Ajose.
Yeah, man. Say no more.
Israel Ajose.
What's happening, bro?
Long time, blood. So look, Israel Ajose was on the London scene, right? He boxed for All Stars. Good little heavyweight. Him and Tox.
Yeah.
Is ready.
Yeah.
Right? They were good little fighters, and he done well. For his thing, he done well, and always respectful. Now this is my crew. These are men who I haven't spoken to for years, but these were my dogs. Yeah. When I was the London champion and going to the Olympics, all of these men, they were my dogs. You get me? Because Audley made it. You get me? We're all in the ghetto trying to make it, and we all trying to, but these were my dogs. It's good to hear you, man. So how you doing?
Listen, I'm good. It's great to hear you. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm just so happy just hearing about your story and you coming back and getting back into the boxing and everything. So, but it's great. I mean, I'm not on the boxing scene. I'm not involved in no boxing at all. I mean, I watch the fights and stuff. I'm still a boxing fan, and I still go training myself, like just to keep fit and whatnot. But it's just great to hear you, man. When I just saw you there on the Twitter, I thought, whoa, like Audley, you know what I mean? Like, we're coming and, you know what I mean? But it's great to hear your story.
So Israel, let me ask you something, because obviously you were there from my amateur days,
listen,
and I was like,
exactly. And
right, you were there all the way through.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So when I lost to Danny Williams the first time, because I know you all looked at me like the next champ. You guys believed in me like the next champ. Yeah. So what did you think when I boxed Danny Williams that first time and I boxed like, what was in your head?
I'll be honest with you. When you boxed in the first time, I was like when the fight went and everything, I was like, nah, but I don't know if Audley's got it to get to the, you know what I mean, to go all the way and stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was doubting.
No, be honest. I want you to be honest.
Very honest. I was doubting. I was like, nah, like I don't think Audley's got it. Like he should have, you know what I mean? He should have been able to, you know what I mean, just easily outpoint Danny Williams and stuff like that. Right. You see the rematch now. Jesus Christ. Listen, you just finished him off clinic. Like I'm just like, and that is my man still. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I mean? That is my, I haven't even spoken to him in years, but that is my man. But the way you just took him apart, like bang. Because it's 3 rounds, isn't it? Was it 3 rounds? I think it was 3 rounds.
Three rounds.
I remember, like you just just that sharp jab, like boom, and that inside uppercut. I was like, damn, like you just. Well, after that, I just thought, nah, you are the finished.
Did you have any doubt?
I had no doubt.
Did you have?
After that,
right.
I was like,
So
that is the finished product. The way you finished the match, I was like, that is the finished product. That is it. That you're going all the way. You know what I'm trying to say? So
right. So from the boxing world, and which is what I felt with most of the boxers who came to me after that Danny Williams, that second fight, just like Michelle Ciccia, they felt I was the finished article. You felt after that Danny Williams fight, I'm ready now.
There was no ifs, buts, or maybes. I was like, that's it.
No,
bring on the Klitschko's, bring on whoever, you know, I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Just bring
no ifs, buts, or maybes.
No ifs, buts, or maybes. That was it. Like, that fight was supreme. But boxing to me, like, I put that fight out there. I watched that fight out there with the Julio Cesar Chavez's, with the Durant, like, it's up there. Like, in terms of the sharp, the jab. And listen, that jab was serious, Richard. Right? It was serious. Just took him apart.
Did you guys hear what this guy just said? This is a boxer who's boxed his whole life, right?
Yeah.
And this is what the boxing world was saying. Fuck what Frank Warren and those idiots were saying. The boxing world was saying, this kid, that's like a fight like Julio Cesar Chavez. This kid is the next heavyweight champion. No doubt about it. What they saw, what I done to Danny.
Yeah, exactly.
That was all the boxers were saying that.
Exactly.
That's where I was after that fight. Right? But you don't got to understand how big it was. So you're talking about a multi-millionaire. I told you what I was going to do to Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah.
I was going to destroy him. And I knew that. So when the BBC fucking broke me down and took away everything I had, right?
Yeah.
Not only did I lose out, but what the British people got to understand, because of this skullduggery, they lost out on having the next fucking Lennox Lewis, the next heavyweight champion of the world, dominant heavyweight champion of the world. They lost out on that, Britain. Britain, you lost out on that. Do you not understand this? Do you understand? They don't realise that they lost out on having a world champion who would have defended the title like Nazim Hamed. He would have lit up the world with his charismatic, cocky arrogance, but he would have delivered it in the ring.
Yeah.
That's who they had, and that's who got lost in the fucking nervous breakdown. That's what the BBC destroyed.
Yeah.
They don't realise that.
Yeah, they robbed
the
British people. They robbed the British people.
They robbed the British people of having world champion.
Yeah.
Who would have been a dominant world champion, who would have knocked out Klitschko easy. I mean, fair play, Tyson Fury beat him, boxed him out, boxing. I would have knocked out fucking Vladimir Klitschko within 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah. He wasn't good with southpaws. He wasn't good with. He didn't know how to handle southpaws.
Within 3 or 4 rounds, I practiced his style. I knew his style back to front, and I just was waiting for the opportunity to fight him. Vladimir Klitschko would have got knocked out within 3-4 rounds.
Yeah. Because even if you notice, like, because even like with Tyson, when Tyson Fury beat him, Tyson Fury, he can switch a bit, but we know that it's a natural orthodox. But even when it was the fact that when he switched to southpaw, that's what contributed to a lot to him beating Klitschko. So that's a natural southpaw. Like, that's how you are. You would have just finished him.
It's all over.
Yeah.
It's all up. But anyway, Israel, it's been great to catch up. Hey, send me a DM. Start following me. Send me a DM. So when I come to, we'll be up and break.
I'm following you already.
Okay, so I'll find you. Just send me a DM, and I'll find you anyway.
No problem.
And I'll link up back with you. And when I come to UK, we'll link up and break. How's Toke
doing?
Yeah,
he's fine. He's running the Stonebridge boxing club. So he's got some amateurs, got some pros. So
good. All right, kid.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
One love.
All right. Cheers.
Yeah. Bless.
Yes.
All right. I got 2 more requests. So EJ Boxing, we've done EJ Boxing.